That's not how I interpret it. I was in the meeting, so let me tell you how it felt. It was an extremely constructive meeting. It was a breath of fresh air, actually. My feeling, living 11 Downing Street, was that we have a very constructive relationship. We had a wonderful meeting, and despite our differences, we are highly tuned into finding common ground, and I think we already have found it.
What is it?
Well, a determination to put an end to the extended pretend cycle, which has rendered Greece a festering wound on the side of the Eurozone, which, even for Britain, which is not a member of the Eurozone, is a great concern, because the deflationary crisis in Europe is certainly doesn't augur well for the future of the British economy.
You know better than I know, because you're the finance minister, how much money is leaving the Greek banks every week.
All we need is a sense of stability, and this flow will be reversed. That sense of stability will be spawned by the determination of all of us in the European Union, by the European Central Bank, all the partners in this puzzle that is Europe, that we are going to find a solution, and we shall find a solution quickly. Where there is a will, there is a way.
You'll have heard what the Finnish central bank governor just said. We should pull money from the Greek banks, the ECB, because they're reneging on the deal they did with us.
Europeanists should not be toying with the solidity of the Eurozone. We should be settling uncertainties, and we should be settling nerves. There will be a deal that within a very short space of time is going to make it perfectly clear to everyone that Greece can play within the rules and in a way that puts the Greek crisis away once and for all.
You say to me there will be a deal. You are certain the ECB is not going to pull the money from the Greek banks?
It takes a very cynical disposition to believe that the central bank, whose purpose is to keep the Eurozone together, will do anything to undermine it, especially when faced with the Greek government, which is absolutely determined and committed to finding a jointly beneficial agreement for the whole of Europe.
You'll have seen what the bond yield is on a 5-year Greek bond. It's 14.5%. The markets are betting on the ECB crushing the Syriza government.
Not in the slightest. What the markets are reflecting is the uncertainty which is natural in a period of transition. Transition from one program that has failed to one that will work, hopefully taking Greece off the headlines and allowing Europe to get on with the job, the very important job of stabilizing itself and overcoming the deflationary process in which it finds itself.
You know very well that part of the German government, part of the German CDU, CSU is indeed toying with the possibility that you misstep, you overplay your hand, and you will be out because you won't have any banks to fund in Greece anymore.
My message to our German friends, and indeed to all Europeans, is that no hand will be overplayed, because we're not entering this in a confrontational manner. This is what journalists love to portray the situation as a kind of Wild West showdown. This is not it. What we have here is different European governments with a common objective, and that is to strike a mutually beneficial deal, one that minimizes the cost of this crisis for the average European, not for the Greeks, not for the Germans, but thinking from a European perspective.
Mr. Varoufakis, you look, if I may say so, like a man in a bit of a hurry. Many people in the markets will say, this guy knows how much money is coming out of these banks, and he only has a few days, really, to do the deal. Am I right?
You're right in the sense that urgency is of the essence of the moment. We are perhaps the government that has the least amount of time, of leeway, compared to any other government that was ever elected since the Second World War. And the only thing that we need to do as politicians in Europe is we need to settle everyone's nerves by putting on display a joint commitment to doing our job as politicians, and that is to create the circumstances for stability in the Eurozone. And that, I have absolutely no doubt that we're in the process of doing, and as you will see in the next few hours, days, the whole of Europe is going to bind together and do its job.